Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, where you can find everything about basketball and what's going on in the NBA world. Here, we always bring the freshest news and the analyses that make a difference, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss anything. Grab your popcorn because today's video is a must-watch. Klay Thompson's journey with the Dallas Mavericks has turned into a real nightmare, and no one feels that more than he does. But how did things get to this point? How did a team that started the season with high hopes end up fighting just to secure a spot in the playoffs? And above all, what does this mean for Klay's future? When Thompson decided to leave the Golden State Warriors to sign with the Mavericks, his intent was clear: to form a dominant trio alongside Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, get Dallas back to the finals, and maybe even win another NBA title. On paper, it seemed like a perfect move, but the reality turned out to be completely different. Frustration became evident, and no one expressed it better than Klay's own father, Michael Thompson. In an interview with ESPN Los Angeles, he went straight to the point. No, this isn't what he expected. According to Michael, Klay truly believed the Mavericks had a strong enough team to contend for the title. However, what followed was a series of disastrous events that completely derailed the team's season. It all started with the surprising departure of Luka Doncic. The Dallas Mavericks management made the controversial decision to trade their biggest star in an attempt to strengthen the defense and increase the depth of the roster. But in practice, losing Doncic destabilized the team. Without their main on-court reference, the team lost its identity and began to plummet down the standings. To make matters worse, injuries started to pile up. Anthony Davis, who was brought in to be the team's difference maker, barely got to play before suffering a serious injury. Additionally, Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively also spent weeks sidelined, which drastically weakened the team's defense. The final blow came when Kyrie Irving joined the injured list, leaving Klay almost alone to carry the team. The result? A streak of losses that saw the Mavericks fall to the bottom of the playoff standings. Michael Thompson didn't mince words when talking about the team's situation. If this team loses 10 games in a row, it's going to become the biggest story in the NBA. But is there still hope? According to him, if the injured players manage to return in time, Dallas could at least fight for a spot in the play-in and maybe even surprise in the playoffs. But without Kyrie, no way. And here's a point that few are discussing: Klay Thompson's future in Dallas. Sources close to the player indicate that he is deeply dissatisfied with the situation. The level of frustration is so high that rumors are circulating that he might try to force his exit before the season ends. However, there's a significant obstacle. His contract is not cheap, and with his performance falling below expectations, finding a new team interested in him could be a bigger challenge than he anticipated. Additionally, some NBA analysts suggest that if Dallas can't turn the season around, the franchise might begin a complete overhaul. This means that no one is safe, including Klay Thompson and even head coach Jason Kidd, whose future is also in question. The big question now is, do the Mavericks still have a chance to save the season, or is the situation already completely out of control? Could Klay Thompson be leaving sooner than expected? If Dallas truly has to reshape its team, Klay Thompson will find himself in an even more complex situation. Not only will he have to deal with the emotional impact of a failed season, but also with the fact that his reputation in the NBA is at stake. Many see him as one of the league's greatest offensive weapons, but his adjustment to the Mavericks system has been difficult, and the numbers reflect this. His production has dropped significantly compared to previous years with the Golden State Warriors, raising questions about his ability to fit into a new team, especially in a situation as chaotic as Dallas. However, Klay is not a player who gives up easily. His history of overcoming challenges, having come back from a severe knee injury with an exemplary recovery, is one of the reasons he is still highly respected. If anyone can reinvent themselves, it's Thompson. The question now is, will he find the support needed to show his true essence, or will he be at the mercy of a franchise in rebuilding mode? The decision about Thompson's future doesn't depend solely on his will. The NBA market is constantly moving, and with the value of Klay's contract, some teams may hesitate to make a trade. His age is also starting to become a factor to consider. However, if Dallas manages to solve its injury crisis and get back to competing, the situation may change, and Klay could regain the confidence needed to make a difference. But if the season continues to crumble, it's very likely that the idea of a new home for Thompson could become a reality. And here lies the dilemma for the Mavericks. Is it time to abandon the idea of a super trio and invest in a more modest rebuild? After all, if the season is lost for good, the focus might shift to developing young talent, aiming for a more promising future instead of trying to save a season already compromised. In this scenario, Klay Thompson could be a key piece in a trade if the franchise decides to go down that path. Meanwhile, speculations about Kyrie Irving's future also begin to take over the media, increasing the pressure on the team. The question is, to what extent will the Mavericks management be willing to invest in a project that is clearly not working? Or will the focus shift to other alternatives, including external reinforcements or even a total restructuring? As decisions in Dallas continue to be made, Klay Thompson's future becomes increasingly uncertain. Talks about his possible trade are gaining momentum, and teams looking for reinforcements for the following season are starting to consider whether Klay could be the solution to their needs. However, doubts about his ability to adapt to a new system and his hefty contract remain a significant obstacle. Even though he is viewed as a major star, the NBA market is becoming increasingly focused on young players with long-term growth potential, something that Klay, at 34, no longer offers. However, Klay has always been an elite player, and his long-range shooting ability remains one of the NBA's greatest assets. If he's traded to a team that needs this skill, he might be able to resurge, even in a new role or a less dominant position. Teams like the Phoenix Suns, who have already shown interest in strengthening their shooting line, could be a good option. But again, the doubt persists. Can Klay still be that explosive player who once captivated Golden State fans? Or is he already a reflection of the past? At the same time, the pressure on the Mavericks management is only increasing. They know time is running out, and a restructuring is no longer just a possibility, but a necessity for the future of the franchise. With Luka Doncic being the pillar of the team, Dallas's management must make strategic decisions to surround him with pieces that complement his game and bring competitiveness. Kyrie Irving, whose season has also been marked by ups and downs, could be the key to reversing the situation, but injuries and the team's lack of consistency make any attempt to assert themselves difficult. The scenario is even more complex for head coach Jason Kidd. His position leading the team is being questioned, especially considering that he hasn't been able to get the most out of the players under his command. The expectation was that Dallas would be a title contender, but the reality has been quite different. With the future of Klay Thompson, Kyrie Irving, and even Kidd's position in question, the Mavericks find themselves at a critical crossroads. Will the franchise have the courage to make radical changes, or will they try once again to salvage what's left of the season? The pressure to find a winning formula is growing. For Klay, the dilemma is even more personal. He spent years being the second star of the Golden State Warriors, winning titles and forming one of the most feared duos in the NBA alongside Stephen Curry. Now, he finds himself trapped in a situation where his contribution is no longer enough to change the course of the Mavericks. Rumors about his potential departure will increase as the season nears its end, and the question remains, where would Klay truly fit, and will he get the chance to be the Klay Thompson he once was? As the end of the season approaches, the pressure on the Mavericks to find answers intensifies. Dallas, which started the year with high expectations, now finds itself in a sea of uncertainty. Klay Thompson, whose adaptation to the team has been more difficult than expected, finds himself in an uncomfortable position. Once considered one of the best shooters in NBA history, he begins to question his role on a team that seems to be in constant flux. For the Mavericks, injuries and roster issues were just the beginning. Even with Luka Doncic as the leader, the team struggles to find consistency, and Klay's performance, once considered one of the league's offensive pillars, has fallen short of expectations. His lack of production and the uncertainty surrounding his position on the team make his future in Dallas increasingly unlikely. Rumors of his possible departure begin to circulate throughout the league. If the season continues without the expected recovery, the inevitable may happen, a trade. But where would Klay go? His reputation as an elite player still holds, but the length of his contract and the high value of his salary become obstacles for any trade. However, there are teams that may see him as a key piece for the playoffs, especially those in need of an experienced shooter to complete their roster. Teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, who are looking for pieces to solidify their rotation, or even the Miami Heat, who have a winning culture and could leverage Klay's experience in their title pursuit, are beginning to be speculated. However, this situation also raises an important question. Does Klay still have the desire to compete for a title? Or is he ready to face a new phase in his career, perhaps on a rebuilding team, where the focus would be development rather than playoff contention? The answer to this question will determine the future of Klay for the remainder of his career, whether in Dallas or with another team. For the Mavericks, the situation is even more difficult. Luka Doncic's presence still ensures the franchise has a chance to rise again, but the lack of consistent support around him is a major problem. Kyrie Irving, whose future is also uncertain due to injuries and his style of play, doesn't appear to be the solution the team had hoped for. And with Klay Thompson drifting further from his best form, the need for a restructuring becomes even more urgent. And what about head coach Jason Kidd? In times of crisis, all eyes turn to the coach. His approach to the team and management style have failed to bring the necessary consistency to get the team off the ground. The pressure on him increases with each loss, and many question whether he will be able to remain at the helm of the Mavericks next year. The reality is harsh. If the Mavericks fail to make a significant change, the responsibility for this decline in performance will fall on Kidd's shoulders, and his job security could be at risk. The situation in Dallas reflects a crucial moment for the franchise. The uncertainty over which direction to take, whether to continue investing in the current core or embark on a full rebuild, will determine the Mavericks' future. Klay Thompson's departure could mark the beginning of a deeper process of change, where new faces would step into the role of stars, and the team would focus on the long term rather than seeking an immediate fix. For Klay, this season of uncertainty could be a turning point. Whether he's traded or stays in Dallas, the pressure will be on him to prove that he can still be one of the best players in the league. His determination and resilience could be key to turning things around, but time is against him. For the Mavericks, it's time to make tough decisions that will impact the franchise's future and perhaps even Klay Thompson's career. Sotto has been drawing attention for his talent and the potential to become a dominant center in the league. Standing at 7'3", he's not only a rim protector but also a player who has greatly improved offensively. The question is, would he fit into the Warriors system? We know that adapting to the NBA is not easy, especially for a player coming from an international background, but Kai has already shown that he faces challenges head-on. Since beginning his professional basketball career, he has displayed an impressive learning curve and a growth mindset that could make all the difference. The Warriors always prioritize versatile players who know how to move well without the ball and contribute on both ends of the court, and that's where Sotto could shine. He's not just a traditional center who protects the paint, but also a mobile and intelligent player capable of helping with offensive plays. The big question now is, who will give Sotto this chance? The Warriors could benefit from a young and promising center, but other teams may also be eyeing him. What's certain is that he has all the potential to grow in the NBA, as long as he gets the right opportunity. Sotto's future is promising, but he still needs to find the team and system that best suit his style. If the Warriors decide to give him a chance, it could not only strengthen the roster, but also bring a new dynamic to Golden State's front court. After all, with the Warriors' winning mentality, the sky is the limit for any young talent. So, did you like the video? Don't waste any time and hit the like button because it helps a lot with spreading the word. If you have anything to add or want to share your opinion, leave a comment. We love hearing what you think. And of course, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates about our team. See you next time, everyone. Let's go together towards another great season.